What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dom and Pop DC Sports Talk Plus podcast. This week, we're going to be talking about all things NFL schedule release, specifically the Commanders schedule, and of course, getting in our NBA bracket check-ins and the K-Cots of the week. What's going on, Pop? How you doing? Welcome back.
Doing well. Pod number 10.
Yeah, pod number 10. Thank you, guys. Big week. Thank you, everybody, for listening, sticking with us for 10 episodes. We really appreciate it. And to show our thank you, we're bringing you video.
That's amazing.
Brand new medium. So, we've been trying to figure out over the last couple of weeks how to get the video happening and what to do, and it kind of just perfectly lined up with episode 10. So we figured, why not go ahead and bring it to the people?
Grand opening of our West Coast marketing office.
There it is. Pop, what you rocking over there? You got a Maryland t-shirt on?
That's it.
Repping the alma mater?
Always repping the Terps.
Good. I thought the Ashburn Syndrome shirt, shout out the guys at the Washington Football Talk podcast. I thought this was a appropriate thing for today, since we're going to be probably going over a little bit of Ashburn Syndrome, going through the schedule, giving our predictions. I'm sure it'll come up from time to time today.
Absolutely.
So.
Very appropriate.
Yeah, but how was your week otherwise, Pop? All good? Good week? Feeling good?
Good. Can't complain. Nothing to complain about. We're at a wedding yesterday, which was very, very nice.
Was there some faking and booty shaking going on at the wedding?
A little bit. You know,
that's what I like to hear.
Dance floor was crowded, but yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Shaking and booty shaking in.
Good stuff.
What's the quote exactly?
Faking and booty shaking.
Faking and booty shaking. Jeez, how did I forget that? Wow.
No, you can't. That's a classic. All right. Well, what do you say we just get right into it this week? We got a lot to talk about today. It's been a good week for NFL fans. The schedule release, of course. There were all kinds of crazy leaks and fake Twitter accounts and everything. It's just insane what the extent people go to for a retweet these days. But Pop, what are your thoughts on that? Did you see any funny leaks or anything silly? What do you think?
I think just about every leak was inaccurate.
Yep.
So kind of silly, actually, right? I mean, we still got 4 months to go before the season. Just wait for the schedule to come out, and then we could do what we're doing. We'll talk about it. But yeah.
Yeah, you had a great tweet about that. It's like, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna break down every nuance of the schedule every day for the next 4 months until the season starts. Why are we wasting our time making up mock schedules and whatever? But anyways, here we are talking about the schedule, so I guess we can't throw too many stones in our glass house. But anyways, Pop, so how are you feeling overall about the schedule? Obviously, just some quick hits. We got the Jags opening. We got games on holidays this year. Our bye week's a little weird. Some exciting quarterback-related things happening. What do you think? How you feeling?
It's good overall. I think strength of schedule-wise, we're ranked as, I guess, one of the weakest schedules, or if not the weakest schedule.
The weakest. We're tied with Dallas.
I saw. So you got to like that, I guess. But that, obviously can change through the course of the year. But yeah, just in general, I like the way the offseason is shaping up, just because it seems relatively normal, and hopefully I didn't jinx anything. We went from, year one with Ron going through, the cancer scare and all of those things, and then all the COVID related stuff. And last year was just a mess with, COVID and everything. And, late in the year, we just seemed to get slammed. We got on a bit of a roll, and then we got slammed. And it just really feels like the first normal off season that it's, at least in terms of football anyway, that the team is able to have normal off season program and is settling in on year 3 of what Ron likes to do. And I think that hopefully is encouraging.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, normal for us, it's so funny for Washington fans. Normal is a name change, a complete rebrand, a new quarterback. Like, that's just like, oh, yeah, we're back to normal. We're feeling good this year.
Maybe it's just me, but I don't. I feel like the name change has actually created some positive vibes. I know
No,
that
I agree.
there are
I
people
agree.
out there that are listening to this, and I'm actually kind of interested in your generational view because I think my generation probably has a difficult time, adjusting to it. Pop is a modern thinker, and I'm into it and I'm accepting of it. But it feels like a bit of positive momentum building around the Commanders. I don't know. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think so. I mean, I think at least I don't have a ton of Washington friend colleagues, and people that I talk to because I'm on the West Coast, obviously, and then most of my friends from Maryland are Baltimore fans. Um, so definitely like a little bit of reluctance to let the name go out of most of my friends, but at this point, everybody's accepted it and is ready to just root for the Commanders and be all in for it. And I think we've all found ourselves on Fanatics and NFL Shop a little more excited about the Commanders gear than we initially thought we would be. So that's pretty cool. I bought my new puppy Carlo. I bought him a Commanders jersey, so that's
Yeah,
awesome.
that was
Maybe
very
we'll
cute.
like tweet out a picture of it or something this week. But so yeah, I think the name at this point, I think everybody's just embracing it, rocking with it. We're changing the theme song, putting the name in there. I'm not too worried about that anymore. And I don't think at this point, to your point of it being a normal year, I was kind of being a smartass there. I do think it kind of puts it puts like a pin in it, and it's done, and we don't have to think about it
It allows you
anymore.
to move forward,
Yeah,
right? I mean, I
exactly.
think that was my point more than anything. Getting beyond whether you like the name or you don't like the name. It just feels like now everybody's able to kind of move forward, and so hopefully that ends up turning into at
Yep.
least maybe we've hit rock bottom and we're starting to
Starting to bounce up a little
see
bit.
things climb. I mean, I think honestly, I think the Dom and Pop podcast was the turning point.
I think so
You
too.
know,
I think
I
so
mean,
too.
there's no doubt in my mind about that.
But
So
anyways, let's jump back up to the schedule. Let's get on that. So we have a pretty. We're gonna go game by game later, but right now let's start just with the general overview. So you said you like the strength of schedule, Pop. Things look pretty normal to you. Real quick, open it against the Jaguars. We play Christmas Eve against San Francisco, which a lot of people are saying is probably our toughest game at San Francisco. New Year's Day against Cleveland, and then we got Wentz. He's playing his old coach week one, Doug Peterson, and then he's going to Philly twice, and of course I think we're playing Indy. Yeah, we're playing Indy as well, week 8. So a lot of good headlines there. What's the biggest one that jumps out to you, or what are you the most excited about out of those things, Pop?
Oh, it's interesting. I don't know that I have one. I think I would just, overall, I think Jacksonville at home, I like that. It gives us a chance for that very first game. It was a very winnable game. Also, Wentz will have some motivation going against, the team that knocked him out of the playoffs the year before. He's going to have something
Definitely.
to prove. Doug Peterson, one show I was listening to this week said maybe it's good to hit Jacksonville early in the year because they could be a team that's on the rise as the year
Yeah.
goes on. Better coaching,
Yep.
upgrading talent. So that's good. Yeah, I think lots of intrigue, and we'll get more detail on all the Wentz revenge games, which I think
Yeah.
is going to be cool. Don't love San Francisco Christmas Eve. I guess it's okay. It's kind of in the middle of, Christmas Eve things that could get in the way a little bit. It's got to suck for the team and the
Everybody
reporters
covering
and
it,
everything
right?
to have to
Yeah.
travel all the way out there. And that's one of the games we had circled as a possible road game to go to because, fairly close by to you, but obviously that's not going to work out
Yeah.
for Christmas Eve. But no, generally overall, it seems like couple other interesting things are, rotating home and away games. It's pretty just every other week. They seem to be either home or away until you get to week 10, where they got the two road games against Philly and Houston.
Yeah.
And then, but we get to end with 2 home games against Cleveland and Dallas, which I kind of like. So
Yep.
the week 14 bye week, what do you think about that?
The
How's that
late
sit
bu-
with you?
I hate it. I really don't like that.
Yeah.
Because last year we saw a really big adjustment coming out of the bye. And we know with Ron, he's always said his teams tend to play better in December. So I see that, that could work negatively for us for a few reasons. I mean, of course, just the guys getting more and more beat up and not having the time to get some rest in the middle of the season hurts. And then we could start heating up. When you look at the schedule, you see Philly, Houston, Atlanta, New York, that all beatable teams. And then we hit the bye week, and that could maybe serve as put us on ice a little bit, which I don't particularly like. And then obviously coming out against New York in week 15, that's set up for disappointment. And then San Francisco, we could tilt. And just like we talked about earlier, I don't like the having to wait that long in the year to make adjustments. So Ron and Jack and Scott are going to have to coach early and often this year. They're going to have to be making adjustments week to week. They can't wait until the bye week to change the game plan. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I think from a evaluation standpoint, maybe it's a good thing because we get to really see what Ron and Jack and Scott are made of for those 14 weeks. So we'll see.
That's a great point by you, I think, in terms of the adjustments. It has tended to seem that the last couple of years we waited till the bye week to adjust and change some things up, and they're definitely not going to be able to do that. Great point. But as, YouTube listeners may be learning for the first time, and pod listeners know this by now, we don't always agree. And in fact, it's, given the couple of generational perspectives and everything. And I don't know, I kind of like it.
All right,
I think that's the time of year where you're the most beat up. You need that break, and it's right before the last 4 games of the season, which, hopefully will be our most important run, either to sort of clinch a division win or make that playoff run. And I don't mind it. I'd much rather have it late than early. Everyone seems to like it right in the middle of the season, but it's not a bad time to get healthy, get some extra rest in. I don't mind it. I think it's okay.
That's a good different perspective. I mean, hey, maybe I'm being too negative, and maybe we're getting healthy for
no,
good.
Not you.
maybe we're getting healthy for a good playoff push there. Who knows? And I mean, San Francisco. Everybody's saying how tough they could be. Lord knows what's going to happen with Trey Lance. I mean, they could be bad. They could be really bad at that point in the year. We don't know.
It'd be interesting.
I find it hard to believe, but it's possible. But anyways,
but on one other quick one that's pretty interesting is that Giants week 13, bye week 14, and then Giants again. So that's an interesting scheduling quirk. I don't remember us playing a division opponent back to back like that. I'm sure it's happened before, but I don't remember it.
Me neither. One other quick thing, just headlines, then I think we'll go around the league for a little bit. So we got our boy, Captain Kirk, coming back to D.C. He's going to be back on what used to be home turf for him on FedEx Field, Week 9 against Minnesota. How you feeling about that, Pop? Do you want to talk a little bit about our favorite Kirk memories, or how we feel about him coming home? Or I don't want to talk about our favorite memories, to be honest with you, but you can if you want.
No, I mean, I think it's a great one, right? You've heard some people say, "Oh, he's going to come back and light us up," and I say, "Bring it on," But yeah, very cool, and I think there's a lot of games like that throughout the season that have some great storylines. And I would like to next just touch a little bit on the Carson Wentz situation there. But yeah, I mean, it's great, and I think Kirk takes a lot of abuse. He hasn't necessarily, I would say, lived up to his paycheck in Minnesota. Would we have rather Kirk stayed than go through the quarterback situation that we've had the last many years? I think it'd be hard to argue against that. But one memory, he says story time with Pop. This will just be a mini story time with Pop. I do remember, I think it was would it have been your freshman year at Berkeley? And I went to drop you off at school and orientation and everything, your freshman year at school. And that's when Jay Gruden announced that Kirk was going to be starting over RG3. I clearly remember walking the streets around Boston, walking the streets around the school, and while you were busy doing some stuff and I was kind of on my own, And hearing that announcement, I was probably listening to one of the DC sports stations and just feeling like shocked
Yeah.
that Kirk was starting. And I was a big RG3 guy, like blindly RG3 guy. 2012 just got underneath my skin, and I just had a really hard time letting go.
Some people say you can trace your infection of Asperger's syndrome back to that moment. That was
I was all in with him, and I just kept wanting to give him chance after chance after chance. So,
yeah.
in that respect, I was never the biggest Kirk Cousins fan. But, the thing that really left a bad taste in my mouth is I really felt like Kirk played that card of, oh, they were all against me, and they were all this, and they were all that. And, when he got his chance to play prior to him getting the starting job, he was terrible.
Yep.
And, if anyone gave him his chance, Washington, who drafted him, Washington gave him the chance to start. So, hey, he didn't want to be here, obviously, no matter, his Eddie Haskell, and again, old man reference, Eddie Haskell from Leave It to Beaver, but he'd always say the right things. It was disingenuous and had this big interview, right before he hit free agency saying how he wanted to be back. And it was clear that he never wanted to come back here. He had a chip on his shoulder. And that always left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. But no doubt he is a very good quarterback. And I hope we beat his ass. That's all I'll say.
Yep, I agree. And hey, one thing we do have to thank Kirk Cousins for is that you might be able to trace the origins of the Dom and Pop podcast back to Kirk Cousins, because I remember arguing with you. I was big on RG3 as well, but I turned faster than you did.
You did.
And I turned hard. Once I turned, I never looked back.
You did.
And I remember arguing with you for hours on the phone. Like, it was the kind of thing where it was like, I can't bring this subject up unless I know I have like 30 minutes to kill. Because we would argue for hours about RG3 or Kirk or whatever. But anyways, we'll say
you were right. You were right. I remember, like, even when RG3 went to Cleveland or when he got into Baltimore, I mean, I was hooked. I was on it.
Yep.
I just couldn't let it go. A lot of you fans that hopefully are listening or watching can relate. I just couldn't let it go. It was just that 2012 season was so magical.
It was magical.
It was, so you can't talk about Kirk without talking about RG3.
Of course not.
But let's talk a little bit about Carson Wentz. I think it's pretty interesting. He did an interview this week, and there are really 5 games. I think it's 5 on the schedule that you could point to, right? Jacksonville. He got knocked out of the playoffs, and some people say the Jacksonville game cost him his job in Indy. Plus, Doug Peterson, his ex-coach, coached against Jacksonville. So there's that. Of course, Philadelphia. We get them twice on the schedule. So, there's a revenge game against Philadelphia. And then I guess it's only 4. And then Indianapolis, the Colts, right? So there's those 4 games that are on the schedule that, the headline going into it's going to be Carson Wentz versus his old team, or Carson Wentz versus the team that knocked him out of the playoffs. And I thought in his interviews this week, and if you didn't see that, check it out. I think it was on NFL.com. I thought he handled it well. I mean, I know that we have a different opinion here, but I thought he owned it, right? I mean, he went right in and said, hey, Jacksonville knocked us out of the playoffs. I didn't play well. I know a lot of people are going to be watching to see what I do that week. He really owned it. And obviously he said he knows the Philly games are going to be big, and the Colts game as well. I kind of like how he handled that. He didn't give the, it's just another game answer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I've softened up on it a little bit. I want more fire out of Carson as a whole. And I understand, like, there's kind of 2 approaches to quarterback demeanor, and I don't think one is right or wrong, because you've seen successful guys go both ways. Like, you have the really fiery guys that will say stuff, will be a little bit louder on social media, will get heated, and then you have the more mild-mannered guys that just always say the right thing, and kind of like the Eddie Haskell thing. And so I think Kirk kind of falls into the, or not Kirk. I think Carson kind of falls into the latter. Kirk does too. And that's just not my type of personality for a quarterback. But yeah, I mean, he says all the right things. He knows what he's doing. But anyways, I Let's get into the schedule around the NFL, Pop. What are you thinking? There's some big games coming up. I want to make sure we leave time for our game by game breakdown because I know we're gonna get into that. So, but what do you think,
No,
real quick, around the NFL?
yeah, just super quick. I think everyone can read the schedule right, so we're not breaking any news there. But
Yeah.
very first game of the year is Buffalo versus LA. So in that Thursday night opener, which is always kind of like Christmas Day.
I am gonna
So
gamble my culo off for that game. I can't wait. Oh my god, I've been itching. I only let myself gamble during the NFL season, and I've been itching to just get back to watching games and putting money on Gabriel Davis overs and just nonsense. So this is gonna be great. But
yeah, it's gonna be great when we get the
Can't wait.
chance to talk, about what bets and our fantasy teams and all that stuff when the season comes around.
yep,
And then I guess week one, the biggest matchup is Broncos Seahawks, right? So
yep,
Wilson going back to Seattle, that's a pretty big one. And throughout the season, there are a lot of great matchups. I think the Bucks play Green Bay in week 3. I think I've got that right. Of course, there are the 3 Thanksgiving games. Washington, I think, gets 2 primetime games, which we'll get into when we talk about that.
Yep.
Interesting that there's a bunch of Christmas Eve games and then 3 Christmas Day games this year. So it's good. I think it's exciting to look to see what's going to be going on in that time. I mean, Christmas Day games are Green Bay at Miami, Denver at LA, and Tampa at Arizona. So those are pretty good. But yeah, it's going to be great, I think.
yeah. I'm pumped. There's a lot of good stuff. Just real quick, Bills at Bengals, week 17. That'll be a great one. Let's see here. Chargers Chiefs, week 2. That's always, I remember I was back in Maryland for the last one, and we were like, oh, Thursday Night Football, we'll throw it on. We don't really care about either of the teams, but it might be good. And then there we are, like, glued to the TV at, like, midnight. Like, this is one of the best games I saw last year, so excited for that, too. But anyways.
Yeah, New Year's Day, all but 2 games are in that week are going to be played on New Year's Day. So
It's
and I
gonna
know
be
we're
great.
even considering making it out to the Cleveland-Washington game. I hope we can make that happen. That'd be a great
Quick
way
little
to spend
kick
New Year's
hots.
Day.
I can't even get a text back about setting up these plans for New Year's Day. So
I told
whatever,
you.
it's,
I can't tell you, man.
Man, my
Old guys.
yeah, man, unbelievable. It's
I'll
5
hang
to
with the young crew.
5 to 7 business day turnaround on a text message. But anyways, I know that's probably a good share of our listener base, so I don't want to get too down on them. But anyways, Pop, what do you say?
If you're listening, you know what we're talking about.
There you go. Pop, what do you say we just jump right into the schedule? You start going game by game. You got anything you want to? Okay, let's do it. So
Let's do it.
I got kind of 2 overall takes. I actually haven't tallied up my total wins losses, but I got 2 overall takes on how the season is going to go, and I actually think the first 2 games are going to determine a lot of what's going to happen. Personally, I don't know if you agree on that, Pop, but I think we've got 2 to start week 1 in Jacksonville. Obviously, all the drama with Wentz related to Jacksonville last year. This is a team that, has been the laughingstock of the NFL for a very long time. Second to only Detroit, who we play the week after them. So we have to win that game, in my opinion. I think that's a W. Home opener against Jacksonville, Carson's first game. He's going to want some revenge. I think that's a win. What do you think, Pop?
I think it's a win. Yeah, I'm going to go
Yeah.
with you. I'm going to say that we'll knock Jacksonville off. And I'm not sure in terms of like the way this team is a notorious slow starter.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that. Yeah, it certainly would be a disaster if we didn't win at least split those first 2 games.
Yeah.
But you never know. I mean, we could then rally and win the next 4.
Yep.
It's always unpredictable with our beloved Washington Commanders.
Definitely, and I'll get into my other theories once we get a little later down the schedule. But so Jacksonville 1-0 for both of us, so that's easy.
Yep.
So Pop, Detroit after that second week at Detroit, first road game. What do you think?
I got to go dub against Detroit.
Yeah, I got to go dub too.
I can't pick Detroit to beat us. I think they're still a bottom 5 team in the NFL.
Even
at
though
this
Dan
point,
Campbell
so.
is a favorite of ours, personality wise, I think
I'm
he's
rooting
going to
for
be.
the guy, but not against Commanders.
No, I think he'll be pretty upset that day. So I think 2-0. So 2-0 start. Pop, are you buying your Super Bowl tickets? How you feeling after that? I know some people will be. So
We'll be juiced for sure if
yeah.
it plays out that way. We'll definitely be pretty happy.
So then here's your gut check. Week 3, Philly at home, a team that a lot of people, they had a really great draft. A lot of people are looking to see them take that next step this year. What do you think?
I think we're going to split against Philly, and
Yeah.
I'm going to give us a W at home, even though going 3-0 seems hard to believe. But I'm gonna get us a 3 wins, and take the W there.
I got a loss here. I think this is a comeback to earth loss. I think we probably lose by 2 or 3 scores. I think it's going to be ugly. I think we're going to get smacked. This is the place where we come back to earth if we start 2-0. Now, here's a moment of Dom negativity here that I'm going to throw out. I also see some worry in this game because let's say we start slow, as we tend to do. We get an ugly Antonio Gibson fumble in the 4th quarter against Detroit, and we lose by a field goal. Wentz comes out a little bit slow. A lot of times when you plug a new quarterback into a system, they take a little bit to get used to. He throws a couple picks against Jacksonville. We start the season 0-2. Now we got Philly at home. We 0-3. Now we're going to Dallas on the road week 4.
What are you doing?
This is scary. What I'm doing is I think the point of this schedule for me, I think there's going to be a lot of runs. It's going to be a very herky-jerk, weird season. We're going to have a lot of whiplash. We're not going to know what to think about the team until the end. So I am a little bit worried about that. But I think realistically we're 2-1 going into Dallas. And, who knows? Maybe we lose to Detroit and then we beat Philly. Or maybe we lose to Jacksonville and then we win 2 in a row. It's all possible. But
I got you. I don't know. You were like getting skittish on me there.
I'm feeling skittish. It's as a DC sports fan, it's always when you're looking at games and you're like, we should win these games. Those are almost the games you feel the worst about, right?
Right.
But hopefully, Ron wants to take that next step, so we got to get work done. So let's take that next step.
I almost made the same pick you did there, just sort of for the same reasons. But I'm going with W. We're going to be getting Pennsylvania Avenue ready for a parade.
I like it. All right, so then week 4 against Dallas at Dallas. Dallas tends to play really good at the beginning of the season. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go loss there.
Yeah, I got a loss there as well.
Unfortunately.
So I got us at 2-2. You got us at our first loss there, 3-1, coming back down to earth. And then Tennessee, this is an interesting one. And an interesting matchup for us, particularly at home. What do you think?
Gonna go loss.
Loss?
Get things a little bit, again. It's just mainly just because I think 3-2 feels about right after 5 games.
Yeah.
It, could change in terms of which games are wins and losses, but I'm gonna go loss there.
So I think so too. That's why I have a win.
All right.
I like our matchup there. I know the secondary is kind of a weak point for us, and quarterback is kind of a weak point for Tennessee. So I think defensively we'll be able to do okay containing Henry. Cue him dropping 40 fantasy points on us this week since I said that. But yeah, I think that's a win for us. I think we can outscore them if it comes down to it with the tools that we have. Chicago, week 6 at Chicago. What do you think?
There's actually a decent chance I might be at that game.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I wish I could come.
Friend of mine is a big Chicago fan based out of there, and he's already kind of given me a preliminary invite, so I hope that works out.
There you go.
I remember, man, we went to that Monday night Chicago game a couple years back here at home, which was just absolutely an awful experience.
Case Keenum
everything was actually,
horrible.
A lot of people talk about the game day experience at FedEx, and I think we mentioned this on an earlier pod. I mean, we were having a great time. We got club level seats for a reasonable price. We were had a pregame meal. We were, just enjoying the overall atmosphere of being there. I think it was a decent weather night, and then the game started, and it was just absolutely a train wreck.
Oh my goodness!
So I'm gonna say we get some revenge off of all that. Although me being there, that is a Thursday night game. Important to note that as well. But me being there live and in person, it sets up for disappointment. But I'm gonna go W for that one.
See, you say that, but we were there live and in person against the Raiders last year, and we got a win. So I got
on the
W.
road, yeah.
I got W there as well. I think honestly, Chicago is just a tier below us in the league right now. It's a bad team. So I think we win that. Green Bay at home after the Chicago win. What do you think, Pop? This one should be quick.
I don't think Green Bay is as good as Green Bay. Although they were great last year, and I guess they only really lost Devontae Adams, but I'm still gonna go loss here.
Yeah, I have loss here too. Secondary being the biggest question defensively, and we're just gonna get torn up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could. Aaron Rodgers, like twice a year, decides that he's gonna just crap his pants. So maybe we get lucky and he does that against us. But if every team plays the way they're supposed to, we're gonna get smoked. Anyways, that's not the big headline game. Here's the big headline game, probably the biggest headline game of the year. Indy, Week 8 at Indianapolis. Carson Wentz is going home. What do you think?
So I'm going to be guilty, I think, of these next couple of games of picking with my heart and maybe not my head. But I just hope we beat their ass. I really do. I don't know. It's who knows what we'll be thinking about Carson by Week 8. Who knows if he'll even still be on the field. Hopefully he'll stay healthy and he'll be out there. But I'm gonna take pick with my heart 100% with the ticker here and say we get a win there.
Yeah, I got a win there too. I just think top to bottom we're a better team. That's pretty much it. I just think we're a better team, and I hope Carson can step up to the plate and prove the haters wrong. All right, so Minnesota Week 8. What do you think, Pop?
Again, I can't pick Kirk Cousins. I'm picking with the ticker again here. I think splitting those two games is more realistic. The Indy Minnesota run there, but I'm gonna take a W. Maybe I'll correct that a little bit later. But I really hope we beat Kirk's ass.
I got a W too. This is a very hypocritical W because I think they have more weapons than Green Bay. You look at Thielen, you look at Justin Jefferson.
They do.
Dalvin Cook can run the ball. That's an understatement. But
really feels like it's going to be a bounce back year for Minnesota. So I have to say I'm probably not that confident in any one of these last two picks, but I'm picking with the old ticker here.
And my boy Kevin O'Connell, now the head coach over there.
Ooh, that's a great point.
So revenge game on all fronts.
Love you some KOC.
That was the second biggest mistake this team's front office has made, is letting him go. Second to letting Kyle Smith go. But anyways, I take a W there just because I think, one thing we know better than anybody is when Kirk gets a little too hyped up, that arm starts wobbling, that ball starts coming out this way. And I think Percy Butler, 2 interceptions, Game 9 against Minnesota. That's my prediction.
Let's just hope that Chase and Sweat make a Kirk sandwich and just maybe we could do like a triple with Allen or Payne hitting them 2 in the middle.
I'm telling you, take the over on Percy Butler interceptions Week 9 against Minnesota.
You love Percy.
I love me some Percy Butler. Anyways, so win for both of us there. So let's see. What do I got? 1, 2.
We're 6 and 3. We're both 6.
We're both 6 and 3. Thank you, Pop. That's the math department here.
That's it.
Week 10.
Engineer.
At Philly against Philly. What do you think, Pop? So you said splitting, right?
Monday night game on the road. We never really excel on Monday night. I'm going to say we split against Philly and take the L there.
All right. I got a W.
3-game winning streak for Dom.
I got a W. I got a little heater here.
Damn.
Yeah, I think
Strike up the band.
I also think we split Philly, but I got a W there. I think that's
okay. We were just in reverse.
I think that's a win. Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're feeling good. We're dancing, in my opinion. You got a little 3-game win streak. So we're out at what? I got 7-3. You got 6-4.
6-4. Yep.
At this point, I mean, hell, I'll take either record 10 weeks into the season. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Week 11 at Houston. I'll start. I got a loss. We always lose. We always lose at least 1 or 2 games that we shouldn't. And that feels like a trap to me, and especially predicting that we beat Indy, beat Minnesota, beat Philly. That's like a hangover game. You got 3 pretty important games against pretty good teams. I think we lose to Houston. I think that could be an ugly one. What do you think, Pop?
It's our first back-to-back road games there, but I'm going to give us the win. So we even back up at 7-4, noticing a pattern there. But
Yeah.
I think we're going to beat Houston. Houston's again in that bottom 5 tier. It just got to. People are even talking about them already tanking for a quarterback, which I don't believe, but by that point in the season, but they're just a terrible team at this point.
Yep, I agree. I think they're a terrible
Houston.
team, but I think that's a hangover game for us.
Right.
And then we got Atlanta at home. This is another rebuild team for sure. Go ahead, Pop. I'll let you start with this one.
Oh man. I think it's a win. What I don't like is the 8-4 record at that point. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna just go ahead and write down a W there.
Yep, I got a W there as well. I think coming off that Houston game, there's going to be some ass kickings. There's going to be some suicides at practice. There's running suicides. It's going to be some conditioning drills, and I got a W. So then at New York in the Meadowlands, before the bye week, week 13, I'll start here. This is a loss. Feels like a trap. Again, going into the bye, week 13, we know, you can't predict injury, and I don't want to try to, but we know Wentz has had some health issues in the past. We know the team as a whole was not particularly healthy last year. I think we're probably pretty banged up going into the bye, and we're a little bit asleep at the wheel here. And maybe we correct for winning some games that we shouldn't have won earlier in the season with a loss. What do you think, Pop?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go do theory loss, and I can't put 9-4 down on the paper. Also, it's just Giants. People say, "Oh, Daniel Jones is terrible," and I heard a little bit of that this week when people are going through doing the same thing we're doing. But I mean, they always have our number. Daniel Jones always plays great. If you just watch the Washington tape with Daniel Jones, you'd say
looks like
he's
an
one of the
MVP.
best quarterback draft picks ever.
Yep.
So honestly, on the road, kind of due for a little bit of a letdown, and I'll say we get the loss there as well.
Yep, I agree. So bye week, we win the bye week. I think we get a W there. Can't lose. That's there have been.
We're both 8-5 at the bye, which I think we take all day.
8-5 at the bye. That might be our. That could be our Patreon debut podcast, shirtless. That would be a great feeling. 8-5 going into the bye. Week 15, Giants at home, coming fresh off the bye week. What you think, Pop?
We're not losing to them twice in a row. If we do, it's going to be a hell of a pod after that. But
yep.
I'll give us the win there.
Yeah, I got the win too. So that's 9 wins for both of us by week 15. San Francisco, Christmas Eve, at the Bay. What do you think?
I think we're at risk of having our Christmas spoiled, and go lost there.
Yeah, I'm going to put a loss down there too. Pure football, I think we're a lot closer to San Francisco than a lot of people think, and I think that could be a win. But for spiritual reasons, I think that's a loss. I just don't. I think there's no way. So then Cleveland, 17, New Year's Day, starting off 2023, potentially at FedEx Field, couple $15 beers in hand. What do you think, Pop? Is Deshaun Watson hanging 400 yards on us, or are we getting a win?
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, because I don't want us getting swept by Dallas, maybe a bit of a heart. I do think realistically splitting those last 2 games makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
So I'm going to go loss against Cleveland. I'll probably tip my hand on the next pick, but loss.
There you go. I got a W against Cleveland. I hope. It's the best I can do. I hope for a W. I think
I
we
hope
can
you're
get
right.
one. I think ultimately what we're going to see a lot of these W's is we're going to be able to score with teams better than we think we will. And I think that Cleveland game is going to be just just going to be a score fest, and I think we get lucky. That's my prediction.
All right.
So win there, and I also think the Watson thing. People are very excited about him in Cleveland, but it's a very treacherous situation there, and there is a lot more room for negative outcome and weird adjustment. I mean, the dude hasn't played football in a year, and he's been dealing with everything he's been dealing with. I don't know. I think it's too big of an assumption to say that he's going to come in and just be exactly what he was in Houston. So yeah, I got a win for us there. But anyways, Dallas, what do you think, Pop? Last at home flex potentially. This is a Sunday night football game. Time
Dub.
TBD.
Dub. Simple.
I got a W2 just because I can't pick an L there. If I was picking with my head, maybe I'd take we beat Cleveland, we lose to Dallas. But I mean, with this division, who knows if so week 17, that would be a W, right? I have predicted.
Yeah.
If I have a W predicted at week 17, and we're saying we're 10 wins going into week 18.
Right.
Hell, with this division, maybe Carson Wentz isn't even playing that game.
It could
10
be.
wins. 10 wins.
Could
That could be enough. We could be resting up going into the playoffs, but I take a W either way because I think the guys are going to want to play, and I think ultimately we're going to need it. So I don't know how the hell that happened, but I guess I predicted 11 wins.
11 wins for Tom. I'm thinking, going into it at a high level, who knows which games we're going to actually win or lose. I was thinking 9 and 8 felt about right to me.
Yeah.
I think as you go by game by game, and I mentioned I picked with the ticker. I picked 10, but I feel more gut feel 9 and 8, but I'll stick with my 10 win prediction. But you're at 11, Dominic, pretty bold.
Yeah.
Put some money down on that.
No.
It's gotta be good odds.
Nope. I will not do that. I don't feel that. I don't feel that good about it. So.
Isn't our over under? We'll have to check this. Maybe very inaccurate. I thought we were like at 7.5. So
I'd smash
10
the
is
over
pretty
on that.
bold.
Yeah. So 11 and 6. I mean, let me be clear. I predicted our absolute ceiling here.
Yeah.
This
I
could.
think so.
I think realistically speaking, maybe I'd say we're closer to between 7 and 10 wins. But yeah, I got 11 because it's fun to predict wins. And I just think looking at a lot of these games, these are very winnable games. But if we know one thing about the Commanders, we're not going to win all the games we're supposed to. I don't think any NFL team does.
What this proves more than anything is that we're fans.
Yes.
We're fans
This
first.
is a fan. I'm wearing my Ashburn Syndrome t-shirt, so I'm suffering pretty badly.
I think we definitely gave the optimistic view of the schedule, but hey, that's awesome. That would be amazing if that happened, and let's hope so.
It's the optimistic.
How about
it's the optimistic view, but on the other hand, we played Jacksonville, Detroit, New York Giants twice, Houston, Atlanta. We play some bad teams, so we should win most of those games. I mean, if Ron says we're going to take a big step forward. They took the big swing for the quarterback. They made the aggressive moves in the draft. So, yeah, I mean, we should expect this, in my opinion, based on everything that Ron's been saying and everything we've been doing. I don't know if it'll happen.
One quick last point. I look at it this way at a very high level. We had 7 wins last year with a lot of things just going horribly wrong, especially against the end. And yeah, I think we can all agree that we're an improved team with a much better situation at quarterback. I mean, that should at least amount to a 9-win season in my mind, or at least, two wins better. So let's hope so. All right.
So that's that. Yeah, I agree. I think we're in good shape, and that puts us at the playoffs. I think 11 and 6 or 10 and 7 is probably enough, especially in the NFC, whether it be wild card or division champs. I don't see there being a 12 and 5 team. Yeah, hopefully that would be great. I don't see there being a 12 and 5 team in our division, so I guess 11 and 6 is probably enough to win the division. So I guess that's what I'm predicting. Less espresso before our next podcast. Next time, less caffeine. But so then, Pop, are you predicting a playoff win? What do you think?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna wait on that. That's just
Yeah.
I'll just stick with 10-7 at this point. Let's wrap it there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, that's that. And let's see what else. So I say we transition. Let's get into our kick hots of the week real quick. What do you think, Bob?
Absolutely. Always the most popular segment.
Definitely.
For those of you watching for the first time on YouTube, we are Italian, and part of that heritage is che cazzo. You can kind of look at all in fun. You kind of look up the meeting, but it's kind of our WTF moment of the week. So we're not calling out any individual. It's just a moment. And I think this week we've got Caps with their fourth straight first round exit from the playoffs. So, we're big DC sports fans. Hockey's probably not at the top of our list, but we definitely always keep an eye on what the Caps are doing, get more into it during playoff time. I think, Dominic, you were the first one that really started watching hockey in our house.
Yep.
And, got me more and more into it. But it's not just the Caps getting knocked out of the playoffs. I mean, they were just champs in 2018. Who would ever forget that run? It was so much fun. But it's just fourth year in a row not getting out in the first round, and how they lose. They win the first game. First couple of games pretty normal. We get the win kind of surprisingly. Florida gets the second game. We go to Florida and get a nice solid win. We're up 2-1. And then we get to game 4 and we have a lead and we get to overtime. We have a lead late in the game. There's people tweeting out W for the Caps. They score a late goal. We go in overtime, loss. Now it's tied 2-2. And it's just like, at that point, it was just heartbreaking loss. And then everyone's like, hey, wait a minute. Now we're done, right? Oh, it's just a heartbreaking loss. We got to go back to Florida. We come out and we're winning 3-0. And you're thinking, oh, this is it, man. They're just playing great. And it was almost like one of those classics where I was sort of half paying attention, and when I really sat down and started watching it, it was just goal for Florida, boom, another goal, boom, another goal, boom. The next thing you know, I kind of blacked out. I think at one point it was 5-3, and so just such a heartbreaking way to lose. And then game 6, which turns out we're back at home, come out, we're just playing well. We get up to a lead, and then the same kind of thing. We just tie and then lose really early in overtime. So just a heartbreak after heartbreak, and just not kick-cots at the Caps, but just kick-cots on just the way we lost and just getting knocked out so early when they gave us hope.
Yeah, awful. I think our cousin Jimmy probably let out a few kick-outs over the course of that whole situation. So leave it at that. Yeah, kick-outs to that. Really tough way to go out. Real quick, why don't we check in on our NBA brackets, see how we're doing?
Yeah, so I actually did a bit of, being the math guy of the show, I actually did a bit of math before. And
there it is.
You're actually winning at this point. You're at 10 points versus my 8 points. So, yeah, pretty good for you. Yeah, I mean, I guess interesting. Miami is through to the next round. And then in terms of the East, and then we got a game 7 happening right now. So unfortunately, by the time people listen to this, they'll already know the result. But I had Milwaukee going through, and I'll just remind Dominic in case he forgot, he had Brooklyn going through to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
Let me repeat it for those of you who didn't hear that. Dominic had Brooklyn going through to the Eastern Conference Finals.
And I'll remind you real quick, you have Milwaukee going through to the finals, and they're losing by 10 to Boston in Game 7 right now.
Yeah,
so,
I'm a little nervous about that one.
Yeah, hopefully
that
Boston
definitely,
does work
that could definitely hurt me. And I'm already down 0-1 to you on our draft quarterback bet. But by respect to Boston, Jason Tatum, I love him as a player. He's just balling and
monster.
Yeah, I think he's got something to prove, and we'll see how that actually turns out. Milwaukee's a little bit banged up, but yeah, I had Milwaukee going all the way through to the finals. Dominic had Brooklyn. I won't say that anymore. But and then in the West, we both have Phoenix going through, and Dallas is giving Phoenix a run for their money. It's a late game today. that's a little scary. That would knock out your championship prediction there, which would definitely hurt you.
That'd be it for me.
We both had Golden State, and Golden State did get through, so it was a winner for both of us.
Yep.
So, and then in another Kekatsu moment, I noticed that I actually calculated the numbers wrong because I only gave us 2 points for a second round win. It should be 3, so I'm actually at 9, and you're at 12. So either way, you're still winning there. But yeah, I mean, interesting. It's just been one of those great years in the NBA playoffs where there isn't that one dominant
awesome
theme. I think my Golden State pick's looking pretty good there, but certainly if Phoenix gets through today, which you'd still expect them to be able to do, we'll see if we get that right by the time this gets released. They'd be a tough matchup for Golden State.
Yeah, gutting injury to John Morant for Memphis.
Yes.
That sucks. Because I think that was a closer series than people thought it was going to be, and I actually think they had a way better shot. And I think we're looking at Golden State Memphis could be a classic Western Conference rivalry going forward in the next few years.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to watch that develop. But I think that's about it. Anything you want to say or anybody you want to shout out, Pop?
I think I'm good, son. I think, I need a water break now. It was a pretty full episode and lots of ground covered there.
Hey, we had 18 weeks of football to break down. So, I think that's pretty much it for us. I think we covered everything we need to. So, without any further ado, I've been Dom.
This is Pop.
And thank you so much for listening, guys. Have a good week.
11 wins. Damn.
Love me, baby. I'm on your chain, can't complain. You're so lovely. Look in your eyes, paradise. I'm so close to heaven now. Just waiting on you. Love me like that. Just love me like I love you, baby. Just love me like I love you.